Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I think it is time for us today to start dispelling some of the myths that I'm just an individual that's there only to compliment Kuro Games. Dispel the myths that I'm only here to glaze them, that I'll never critique them in any way possible. Because I've done it before. You can just look at my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna do it again. Because holy moly, I don't know what these devs have decided to do, but it appears that common sense has unfortunately avoided them today. Because right now, in 2025, there is no way to actually level up Phrolova, build her properly, use her echoes without waiting a bunch of days and also completing the story completely in version 2.5, or at least completing it to a good extent. Because right now, what I'm going to be showing you is the journey of somebody using Phrolova, or God forbid, pulling Phrolova on their account when they haven't kept up with the main game story. Because you want to know what you're met with? One of the most frustrating things ever. When you're leveling up Phrolova, let me move my camera. One thing you need is this material called Afterlife, right? The Fenrico boss mat is not an issue because you could just go ahead. You could go into early access. Kuro did a good job with this one. You could just go ahead, proceed to early access. You know, you'll get a bit of a spoiler warning. No issue. If you decide you want to farm Fenrico, go for it. You'll spoil him as a boss in the story. It is what it is. To farm this Afterlife material, you either have the Silver Helmet store, which only has 15. You need way more than that to level a character. Or you go to the collection spots on the map. The collection spots are only enough to give you around 24 mats, when you need far more than that. Perhaps about 40 to 50 more to actually level up the character. And the only other location they are on in the map is target area locked. This is where you unlock the new story zone. I'm going to try my best to keep this as spoiler free as possible. And you jump around like this. You go from here to here to there to there to there. You will literally have to complete essentially the entirety of the version 2.5 story to even be able to unlock the materials to build this character. I have never seen story-locked progression to this high of a degree, and it begs the question from me, what is even the point of like this weird early access material split that's going on over here? Why even let you farm this guy early if you can't even use the other material that you're farming the guy for to level up the unit unless you complete the story anyways? And you want to know the best part about it? You can literally see, this is the final zone. That's where all the mats are. That's also where the Fenrico boss is. By the time you even unlock the ability to farm Phrolova's materials, you've already unlocked the boss that they've given you early access for. It seems like the thought process literally wasn't here for this unit. You literally cannot level her until you complete the 2.5 story. Imagine you're somebody that just started a new account on this version. You will have to wait around 5 to 6 weeks for the Silver Helmet store to reset, unless you're gonna speed run the entire story from 1.0 or 2.0 to 2.5. And imagine you just pulled the unit, right? Imagine you just pulled this new unit. Are you gonna wait 5 to 6 weeks in the store for all of this shit to refresh? Looky over here. It refreshes in 4 to 5 days. You can buy 15 Ascension mats. You need like 60 plus to level up a character. So you either bum rush the story to be able to just use the unit that you pulled in the gacha. You bum rush the quest, or you wait 5 weeks. Brother, what the hell? Kuro Games, you have never actually done this for a character before. Yes, there was a unit in the past who unironically is one of the best partners for Phrolova, Cantarella, who had her materials delayed behind you reaching Avenolium. You could at least speed run getting to Avenolium within like 10 to 15 minutes. You have to play the whole quest of 2.5 to be able to level up and use the featured unit of the past. And on top of this, you want to know the worst part about all of it? It's not just leveling the unit that's blocked off, it's building her. You cannot give her her signature forecast without completing the quest. To unlock the Nightmare Hecate for farming, you have to complete the entire quest. To farm her gear, you have to complete the entire quest. And like, for some fucked up reason, Fenrico is available, right? And Fenrico drops an Echo that is of her set. You want to know what type of Echo Fenrico drops on this set that's for her? A 4-cost Echo that gives arrow damage and heavy attack damage. The two most useless stats imaginable for Phrolova. And so the only thing that can occur here is because you're story locked, you might get baited into building this for some godforsaken reason and then realize it literally does nothing for the unit. Like, it literally gives her nothing. And so you can't even use that. So it's a combo of you can't even build her level-wise, and you can't even build her 4-cost Echo. But that's not it. It actually turns out that farming her Echo is also a goddamn nightmare. I thought that this Nightmare Tacit Discords feature was going to be great because you'd be able to farm a shit ton of Echoes every day. It turns out you can only challenge 36 of them, and they're subject to regular Echo drop rates. Yeah, I thought you were guaranteed a drop every single time you killed one of these Echoes. You're not. You're actually not. They're subject to the normal drop rates. And so as a result, you have to know beforehand that you actually need to eat sweet and sour pork to boost the Echo drop rate before going in and farming the mats. I'm not gonna lie. If I see something in this menu, I'm going to assume it's like the rewards are like more guaranteed. I thought that there was a 100% drop rate on every Echo. When I saw this in the live stream and when I saw this like being actually happening, it's the regular drop rates and you only get 36 of them a day. And it's split between the 3 costs and the 1 cost. Do you want to know how many Echoes I got without using food on the new set? These are the Echoes I have on the new set. I have 18 of them, and 8 of them are on the new set. I have 10 other Echoes. I don't even have it. I technically have 3. I have 3 4 costs and 6 1 costs. That's after 1 day. I will not have anything else to actually roll on. I feel like I'm playing Genshin Impact, except I can't even use wave plates to refresh this and farm more. I feel like I'm playing Genshin Impact as a free-to-play. That is what the new Echo farming experience for Phrolova feels like. Literally, Genshin Impact, HSR, ZZZ, completely free-to-play, able to spend no astrite to refresh or refarm, do any of that shit. What the fuck even is this? I don't understand. The worst part about farming this is that you can't even use unborn Echoes. It's not added as a tacit field. It's like not added as anything. On the live stream, I thought Phrolova was going to be the easiest unit in the game to build because I thought that you would have way higher drop rates on the Echo. You'd have like a much higher chance of getting stuff. I get fucking 10 in a day, which is the same as doing 1 tacit field. Or 1 2x tacit field. Guys, from doing a 2x tacit field, you claim 8 Echoes. I got 10 on the daily reset using no food. Using 240 wave plates on tacit fields gives you a minimum of 16. It's slower than farming via tacit fields. And sure, it doesn't cost stamina. Sure, it doesn't cost stamina to do this. But you know what else doesn't cost stamina? Farming the overworld. And yes, this is faster than farming the overworld, sure. But it's so limited, it's insane. Guys, if I'm trying to farm Echoes, I ain't trying to do 10. If anything, it's like, I understand maybe you're not supposed to get a shit ton a week, but it's like at this point, if it's slower than a tacit field every single day, I feel like that is an issue. If I'm able to farm Echoes faster in a literal tacit field, get more copies, get 16 versus 10, it's like, yes, this is no stamina, but it's also no tubes or tuners. I almost would have preferred if these were tacit fields. If this was just paired with a new or different set, and this feature wasn't in here with the way that it's designed. Or if anything, if these are going to function like this, these enemies also need to be farmable in the overworld. Let me just check and see if these enemies are actually farmable in the overworld. If these enemies actually are, it's not that bad. The nightmare ones are not. But I guess it's not the worst thing ever because you can actually just farm Chop Chops. I guess Chop Chops have had a new set added to them. And I guess you can farm the little flamey dudes. So all is not lost. It's just... That's one more set added. This is a 1 of 3, and this one's also a 1 of 3. Because now these sets will drop 2 other different sets, and you're farming the overworld, right? You're farming the overworld for one type of mob, and those mobs are now going to drop 3 sets instead of just the 2 that they were dropping before. So the grind in the overworld is literally going to be one of the worst ones ever, because I don't think you understand the issue with farming mobs that can drop 3 possible sets. You have a 33% chance of even getting the set you want, down from 50. And down from 100 for some of the echoes that only drop 1. And this is also a 3 cost. And now it's going to drop 3 different types. I don't know what it is, but it feels like whatever they decided to do when it comes to like building Phrolova, it's leveling her, it's building her echoes, it's doing all of this. Something went wrong in the actual drawing room. Because this whole Nightmare Tacit Discords thing, I think it should just be a fucking Tacit field at this point. The thing is, it shouldn't replace a Tacit field. I think that this is good if there was an alternative method to acquire these echoes, but this being the only way to acquire these echoes feels kind of like shit. I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't feel that good. If this was paired with a Tacit field that also had this set and then also dropped these echoes, if I had an option to either go spend wave plates or go spend like Astrite, additional stuff, and then these echoes drop from a Tacit field, perfectly fine. But whatever is going on over here with this being the only way to acquire them, I don't think it's that good, man. I honestly think it feels off. And maybe this is just like day 1 implementation. Maybe this is just like day 1 feelings, and then like as you grind day over day, this one's gonna feel a lot better. That could also possibly be the case, but for now, it's just like, if your drop rates aren't good, you could get like 5 a day, 6 a day, and that's still less than doing 1 or 2 double Tacit fields. Less than 120 wave plates in 1 run. I don't think the math is mathing out. You gotta get a minimum, I think, of at least 15 of these. 12, 13, 14, something like that. But being able to get 10, 8, 9, 7, I don't think that's going to work. I think people are going to get pissed off. And there are going to be some incredibly small-brained individuals out there, right? Who are going to come in, see a CC making this statement, who puts out guides, and they're going to be like,
isn't this just a content creator issue? Don't you know that, like, every player's gonna do the story anyways? And so you're only making a video about this and complaining about it because you're personally affected. Let me say something to those idiots. Let me say something to those incredibly small-brained individuals. Have they never fathomed the idea that active players of the game could have simply not caught up with the main story? They might still be back on version 2.4, or even 2.3 or 2.2. And then they'd find out, when they come back in for Phrolova, to even use her, they have to sit down, buckle in for a 10+ hour story, or skip the entire thing, which is awful to do because it's actually a good story. Probably not. They didn't think about that type of player, because of course, they only think about themselves, because they have small brains. Now we have another type of player. Imagine you're somebody that quit during Wuthering Waves 2.3. You thought the anniversary was so boo-boo, right? That like, oh, you're done with the game. You quit the game for 2.3. Then during 2.5, right now, you see an ad for Phrolova. And you're like, damn, wait, this character looks really cool. I'm gonna come back to the game. I like this unit. You log back in, you pull Phrolova, and because you quit in 2.3, now you gotta play the entirety of the Septimon story to even be able to use her, to even be able to build her, to even be able to farm her echoes. Because guess what? Yeah, those nightmare pieces and her main echo, you literally cannot build her until you're on the 2. This is a 3-piece set, right? 2 of the pieces are farmable in the overworld. The other ones are literally locked. So you can't even build her until you do 2.5 either. That's my take to those saying it's only a CC issue. That'll be that one. I think that the whole like leveling farming situation for Phrolova is the most oddly specific and the most oddly like complex way that they've ever introduced a character before into this game. I think that they definitely need to work on like the story implementation of the mats.
Like, they definitely had space in the existing map to not make it so that you had to complete the story. And I would just say, like, as a whole, it's a bit of a miss for me, at the very least. Being somebody that might want to, like, build the character and then take them through the story or just take them out in the content. And for anybody that wants to be able to put the story off and not play it first thing in the patch, you also can't do that if you also want to play Phrolova, which is like... My number one rule is don't force players to do things that they might not want to do at that exact moment. Freedom is always better, and there is no freedom in this patch for almost anything. That's my take. That's my critique. Also, technically, my crash out. But I think that there's a lot of players who could be finding themselves exactly in my shoes. Let me know what you all think. Peace.